Welcome students. So see, this is your case number 1, that is when the vapor is dry and saturated at the end of compression. Okay, what? The vapor is dry and saturated at the end of compression. Okay, see the TS diagram. So this is your temperature entropy diagram. Okay, this one, this is your temperature line, this is your entropy line, and this is your saturation curve. Okay, your case is vapor is dry and saturated at the end of compression. Okay, so let's first draw the pressure lines. So this is your higher pressure line and this is your lower pressure line, means this is your condenser pressure PC and this is your evaporator pressure PE. Okay, this is your condenser pressure PC and this is your evaporator pressure PE. Clear? Okay, first you draw the pressure lines, then uh, locate the point 2 that is at the end of compression and that is dry and saturated, means point 2 will lie on the saturated vapor dome. Okay, if the point 2 is at saturated vapor dome, as 1 to 2 is a isentropic process, so obviously point number 1 will lie here. Clear? So this is our 1 to 2 is your isentropic process. Clear? Now go to 2 to 3. 2 to 3 is your constant pressure heat rejection. 3 to 4 is your isenthalpic expansion process. Okay, and 4 to 1 is your constant pressure heat addition process. Okay, and here constant pressure heat rejection. Okay, clear? So now see the pH curve. So this is your pressure line, this is your enthalpy line. Okay, so and this is your saturation curve. First draw the pressure lines. This is your higher pressure, condenser pressure. This is your lower pressure, that is your evaporator pressure. Up to clear? Your point 2 is your at dry saturated, means point 2 will be here. As it is a pH curve, so 1 to 2 is isentropic process, and I have already told you the isentropic lines are look like in this manner, in this fashion. So from 2 go parallel with this line and join with lower pressure, that is point number 1 here. Okay, 1 to 2 you got the line 1 to 2, then go to 2 to 3 by constant pressure heat rejection, and 3 to 4 is your isenthalpic, mean constant enthalpy line. As your x-axis represents the enthalpy, so it will be a perpendicular line that is dropping downward. Clear? So now you are here point number 4, and 4 to 1 is your constant pressure heat addition process. Okay, so this completes your 1 2 3 4, your 1 2 3 4 is your pH curve of VCRA cycle when vapor is dry and saturated at the end of compression. Our aim is to find the COP. Okay, so first calculate the refrigerant effect, and you know the refrigerating effect will takes place in the evaporator, and the evaporator will locate in between the points 4 and 1. So the area under the curve in TS diagram is our refrigeration effect, and the change in enthalpy, that is H1 minus H4 is our refrigerating effect. Okay, sorry, and your work done will be in between the points 1 and 2. So the net change in enthalpy, that is H2 minus H1, will represent the net work done, that is work done by the compressor. So apply the formula of COP, that is RE by W. RE is your H1 minus H4 divided by compressor work is your H2 minus H1, but you know the value of H4 and H3 will be same, so put the value of H3 in place of H4. So the final equation will be H1 minus H3 divided by H2 minus H1. Clear? So only you have to calculate the enthalpy at this point, enthalpy at this point, enthalpy at this point. Okay, then enthalpy at this point. Then enthalpy at this point. Okay, okay, you have to calculate the enthalpy at point number 1, enthalpy at point number 2, and enthalpy at point number 3. Only 3 points you have to find the enthalpy. Okay, let's solve one question. Okay, the question says a refrigerator works between -7 degrees centigrade and 27 degrees centigrade. Okay, 7 degrees centigrade and 27 degrees centigrade. -7 degrees centigrade and 27 degrees centigrade means -7 is our lower temperature, 27 is our higher temperature, means this is our condenser temperature and this is our evaporator temperature. The vapor is dry and saturated at the end of compression. Find the COP and power required to drive the compressor to remove 180 kilojoule per minute of heat. Okay, you have to remove this much amount of heat. Okay, mass flow rate. Okay, see the table. The table is your temperature. One table is your enthalpy table and another is your entropy table. Okay, so look here. So at -7 degrees centigrade, the enthalpy of liquid is -30 and latent enthalpy is your 1298 and liquid entropy is your -0.108 and vapor entropy is your 4.75. Similarly, at 27 degrees centigrade, liquid enthalpy is 115, latent enthalpy is 1173, liquid entropy 427, vapor entropy 4.33. Okay, so now see the solution. Okay, so first draw the TS and PS diagram as it is drawn in the figure. You can see here. So temperature is your higher temperature is your 300 degrees centigrade, that represents your 27 degrees centigrade. Lower temperature is equal to -7 degree, means it is 266 Kelvin. Your question says the vapor is dry and saturated at the end of compression, means point 2 will lie on the saturated vapor dome. So simultaneously draw the 1, 2, 3, 4 TS diagram, and in PS diagram 1, 2, 3, 4 as shown in the figure. Refrigeration effect will be H1 minus H4 and work done will be H2 minus H1. So first calculate T. देखो यहाँ पे T2 और T3 का वैल्यू सेम होगा and T1 and T4 will be same. Okay, since the vapor is dry and saturated at the end of compression, so the value of X2, dryness fraction at point number 2, this point will be 1, and heat to be removed, that will be 180 kilojoule per minute. It is given in the question. So first COP will be RE by W, that is H1 minus H3 divided by H2 minus H1. So what you have to find? You have to find the value of H1, H2 and H3. Simple. So first it is easy to find the H2. Why? You know the dryness fraction. So H2 will be, it is a gaseous phase, so H2 will be Hg2 at the temperature of what? 27 degrees centigrade, because this is the higher temperature, na? So from this table, look here, at 27 degrees centigrade, at this temperature, your enthalpy in gaseous phase, that is your 4 point oh, this is your entropy. At this temperature, okay, H2O, Hg is not given in the table, so you have to find the Hg by applying the formula HF plus HFG. So at 27, your HF is equal to 115 and HFG is equal to 1173. So apply this formula here. Now look here, Hg2 is equal to Hf2 plus Hfg2. Just apply the formula and put the values and get the answer, that is 1288 kilojoule per kg. Fine. So H2 will be 1288 kilojoule per kg. Now go to H3. H3 will be in liquid state, so a simple H3 will be HF3 at the temperature of 27 degrees centigrade, and look here at minus 7 degree. Why? Because H3 is equal to H3 lies at condenser temperature, so H3 will be 115 kilojoule per kg. Okay, now to find H1, first find the dryness fraction at point 1. So how to find? You know the process 1 to 2, that is your isentropic process. So apply the formula S1 is equal to S2 or S2 is equal to S1 because the process is isentropic. Okay, so you can see here S1 will be SF1 plus X1 into SFG1 is equal to SG2. Okay, why S1? Why I am writing like this? Because S1 will be in the wet region, that why S1 will be SF1 plus X1 into SFG1 and S2 will be SG2. Why? Because it is in dry state. So just put all the values from the table, SF1, SFG1, and you know SFG1 can be written as HFG1 by T1 because SFG1 is not given in the question, not given in the table, so you have to convert entropy into enthalpy and temperature basis. So put all the values from the table and find the value dryness fraction, that is 91%, means 0.91. Okay, after getting in dryness fraction, you can easily find the value of H1, that will be HF1 plus X1 into HFG1. Putting all the data, you will get the value of H1, that is your 1151.18 kilojoule per kg, and ultimately now you are able to find the COP, that is H1 minus H3 divided by H2 minus H1, that is 7.57 answer. Second, the mass flow rate of the refrigerant. Mass flow rate will be how much heat will be extracted or absorbed. Okay, and heat will be absorbed in the evaporator, so you have to divide the heat extracted rate per change in enthalpy, that is your mass flow rate. Okay, mass flow rate will be 0.174 kg per minute. Next, now compressor work will be H2 minus H1, you know all the value, so compressor work will be 136.82 kilojoule per kg, and power will be mass flow rate multiplied with the compressor work. Simple, you will get the power. Mass flow rate is your 0.174 kg per minute and compressor work is your kilojoule per kg. So ultimately the power will be kilojoule per minute. You can convert into kilojoule per second, it will be kilowatt. The answer is 0.397 kilowatt. Okay, thank you.